Hi everyone. It has been a hot minute since I jumped on here. I keep holding the intention that I'll come on more regularly. Just doesn't seem to happen right now. I am early today. Hello. Hi, lovely loves. It's good to be here with you guys. What a time to be alive on the planet. If there's no sound, Mel, turn it up. Turn it up. I'm going to wait a minute or two. I don't even know how to answer that. I'm having a lot of compassion for myself. I got this on Amazon. I think it was on Amazon. And they had like tons of different varieties. Tons of different. Hi, Erica. It's good to see you. Okay, so I jumped on because obviously it's Tuesday morning, so I'm going live on my YouTube channel at 9 a.m. But I wanted to jump on a little bit early because I just want to, I feel like I always do this. It's just I feel like I'm just the reminder of what we forget we're doing here, you know? And it's the same old repeated patterns that we have to remember. We forget so easily what we're doing here as awareness, consciousness, and in the human body, you know, because the intensity of the human experience is so heated that we forget this kind of bigger picture at times. So I'll share one of the things that I'm noticing right now in my life. 9 a.m. in the US, 9 a.m. California time, not just the US, 9 a.m. California time. 9 a.m. on YouTube. Join me on Untangled. But one of the things that I think we forget is happening on the planet is there is an intensity of high frequency light. Doesn't matter if you understand that or not, but it is impacting you. It's impacting you every single moment of your day. It's impacting how you are seeing things. It's impacting how you're feeling things. It's impacting the thoughts that you have. It's impacting the beliefs that you have. It's impacting the way you're in relationships. It's impacting the foods that you're eating. It's impacting the way that your body feels. It's impacting everything. It's impacting the external world. So this high frequency light, whether you understand this or not, or believe it or not, doesn't really matter. It's happening anyways, whether you understand it or believe it. High frequency light that's coming on the planet is creating more volatility in the external world. It's creating more volatility in your internal world. This is the evolution in human consciousness. And what's so fascinating about what's happening on the planet right now is that we're getting distracted by all of these, there's such a distraction around what is actually happening, which is an energetic shift in consciousness and in choice and in behavior and in the ways in which you are being in the world. So what's happening is that when we look out into this external world right now, it is going to continue to be more and more chaotic, right? What's happening, we know this already, but we'll say it again. That which has not been seen will be seen. It's that simple. It is that simple. That's the evolution in human consciousness. That which has not been seen will be seen. Just look out in the world right now. Everything that is occurring on the planet that has not been seen has anything to do with human behavior, human states of being will be shown. You know, and how do you know there's a shift happening? Because if you look at the history of humanity, and if you look at how it's, especially in the last 10 years, there is a constant shift in the way humans are being offered to be. So there's new ways of being that are constantly being presented to humanity. New ways of being is, and they're very, very subtle. These are very subtle shifts, very subtle ways of being. It's not like all of a sudden we're going to become these like beautiful light humans that are going to be in love and light and divine, and we're going to be unified and all of that. No, these are small, subtle shifts that happen so slowly. It's like your hair growing, okay? But it's states of being, it's beingness, it's how you are being. It's how you're relating in the world, right? And it's how the world is being. That is the evolution in consciousness. It has nothing to do with the emotions you feel. Oh my God, I better not feel anger. If I'm feeling anger, something's wrong with me. It's not about the thoughts that you have. It's the state of being. It's how you be. And so what's happening right now on the planet is that anything that we do not see, that we are being in, has to be shown to us. Anything that we are being within ourselves that we do not see, we have to see. So if there is some deep-seated, unconscious patterning within your body that has not yet been seen, it will be shown to you over and over and over, because it is impacting the way you are being. Anything that impacts the way we be has to be seen over and over and over again. War, big, huge, deeply unconscious way of being on a planet that is evolving out of that state of being. So we have to continue to see war. We have to continue to see genocide, which is happening all over the planet. And what's happening right now on the planet, because many people will say, well, it's been happening for thousands of years. That's the evolution in human consciousness, is that there is eventually going to be a tipping point, which is where we're at, where humanity finally starts to wake up enough, come out of the zombie state of massive mind control, and begin to look at their own internal world. Okay, so they're looking at how they are being. They're taking self-responsibility. There's no more victimhood. And then they're reflecting that. They're taking that awareness, that perspective, looking out into the world. And they're changing the way they are being and interacting in the world. And they're doing it differently. The way that we stop what is occurring on the planet, fortunately, unfortunately, positive or negatively, is first we got to see it. We got to recognize it. We got to recognize the patterns and the programs and the stories that we are told to believe. This is the same thing with your own internal world. There is nothing different that's happening in the external world that isn't happening in your internal world. Who told you to hold the beliefs that you're holding about yourself? That you're not worthy, that you're not pretty enough, that your body doesn't look the way you want it to, that you don't have enough money. And you could say, well, it's because of the past. Past experiences have showed me that. I guarantee you, most of the thoughts and the beliefs that you hold have nothing to do with your right here, right now. Right? So who gave you those beliefs? Who gave you those thoughts? We are not born into them. And we don't just create them. They're given. They're given to us. They're provided to us. And we have to start questioning every single thing that we think. We have to start questioning every single behavior we're doing. We have to start questioning everything we believe. Why do you believe what you believe? Why do you think certain emotions are okay and certain emotions aren't okay? Who told you that? Do we even question that? Why do you believe certain people and not other people? If we don't break free in our minds so that we can be in the most natural states that we're designed here to be as humans, we will continue to perpetuate what we're seeing out there in the external world. Right? So what's happening in this external world right now is exactly what's happening in our internal world. Right? We have to look at the stories that we're told. We have to look at the manipulation. We have to look at the greed. Right? We have to look at how we have been designed to just accept certain behaviors. You know, this is just what you do. No, it's not. In a massive evolutionary shift in human consciousness, we have to do things differently. If you aren't realizing that you're being asked to do things differently in your life right now, in your own individual personal life, if you haven't noticed that, start noticing. Noticing the very tiny ways in which you are being asked to do things differently. Maybe it's having more compassion for yourself. Maybe it's starting to put yourself first. Maybe it's starting to hold firmer boundaries. Maybe it's starting to accept unconditional love from people. Maybe it's starting to realize that you're worthy of making money. Maybe it's starting to finally use your voice. Maybe it's I don't know what it is, but tiny little pieces of information are being given to you every moment of every day, allowing you the gift and opportunity to start being in new ways. And the fortunate and unfortunate part about this, the reason that it can be so difficult, is that being in new ways is really hard. Changing patterns is hard. Doing things in new ways is difficult. When you stop believing certain people that you've believed for so long, that's hard. Because what does that mean? It means you got to believe yourself. You got to trust yourself. When you start realizing that the external world has been lying to you, manipulating you, creating massive amounts of divide in order to keep you in a state of unsafety and in fear, that's really hard to look at, right? This process of awakening is not easy. But we are at a precipice right now, and we'll continue to be at this precipice, this catapulting into new ways. It's not slowing down. You're not going to be able to hide in a cave, right? You're going to have to continue to see what you don't want to see. You're going to have to find more gratitude every day. You're going to have to realize, shit, I better be a little more kind to myself and other people because I don't know what else to do right now. You're going to have to start realizing that your body is this divine, intelligent mechanism that knows how to move energies through the body, that you're not in charge. You're going to have to realize that you trying to control everything is only going to create more suffering. You're going to have to realize that everything that is fed to you and I from the external world most likely has some sort of manipulation to it. Right? This is, the more and more that I am walking through this, perhaps you're feeling the same thing. But the more and more that we walk through this experience and experiment on the planet, the more it is mind-blowing how difficult it is, and also how magical it is. How difficult it can be to just simply let people go in your life, right? Like even just letting people go in our lives is difficult. Holding firmer boundaries is difficult. Creating some sort of structure in your life where you are showing up for people in new ways is difficult. Feeling emotions is difficult. No longer judging your emotional states is difficult. There's just a gamut of ways in which we are being asked to be. And what's fascinating is that, by the way, I'm going live on my YouTube channel in 5 minutes. So if you're here, join me on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/LoriLadd. I'm going live at 9 a.m. California time, so that's in 5 minutes. I want to talk about what's happening on the planet. I don't know, you guys. There's so much I want to say. There's so much. This is about freeing ourselves. It's super exciting, but it's also very humbling. It's a very humbling process to be in the human experience right now. It requires more heart. It requires more compassion. It requires continuing to keep your eyes open. It requires really seeing things for how they are. It requires you to really discern between people and information that you're getting. It requires you to have so much courage and not run from fear, right? Anything that creates or perpetuates fear needs to be looked at. Anything that creates or perpetuates any sort of building up of a divide, of borders, of seclusion, of, if humanity doesn't have basic human rights, we need to take a look. We need to take a look. How in the freak are we supposed to shift a human collective if we're not courageous enough to look at how humans are being treated on this planet? There is no excuse, no story, no biblical book that should ever make it okay for humans to be treated like animals anywhere in the world. And if we can't open our eyes to that, we've got problems. We got big problems. If you can't open your eyes to how you are doing that with your own inner world, right? Which is, where am I battling within myself? Lori, don't do this, but do this. Lori, don't act like this, but act like this. Lori, be okay with this, but don't be okay with this. Am I treating myself poorly? Am I treating myself in a good way? How are you treating yourself? Do you know how many people reach out? I'm going to go live on YouTube in 2 minutes. So if you're here, head over to YouTube right now. Go to youtube.com/LoriLadd. I'll be going live for an hour over there. But you know how many people right now don't want to be on the planet? It's too intense. I hear it in my yoga studio. I hear it in my communities. I get emails. I get messages. It's too intense for people. This is the most courageous moment that you could be on the planet. This is it. By the way, this is why you came. This is why you came onto the planet, is to courageously look everything in the eyes and say, how can I be in new ways? How have I been programmed to be? And how can I now choose to be in new ways? How can I see things differently? How can I see emotions differently, thoughts differently, people differently, the world differently, the government differently, all of it differently? All of it. It takes a ton of courage to look at the world straight in the face, to look at what's actually happening straight in the face. No human. What did we just do for the last 3 years? We were fighting for our rights over our bodies. All over the world, we were fighting for our rights over our bodies. Every single human on this mother freaking planet deserves basic human rights. And underneath all the corruption by a small group of people, most of humanity would allow that. Most of humanity would allow for basic human rights, and we would all get along. It's a very small group of people running this entire planet that is creating the chaos, the divide, the fear, the manipulation, the mind control, making us believe that we can't get along and making us believe that somehow it's okay to continue to create genocide all over the world. We got to start looking at this more and more and more and more and more. Okay, I'm going live on YouTube right now. Head on over, youtube.com/LoriLadd. Just go to YouTube, Lori Ladd, LORIELADD, and it's you'll see me live. Untangled. It's called Untangled. Head over. I'll see you guys soon.